Hello everybody, I'm Tanya from the Cedar Box, and this is our first tutorial on how to do hydroponics at home with recycled materials. This is what we're going to do. This is a little box filled with water. It used to be a milk carton, and we're going to use a lot of recycled materials that would otherwise land in the garbage. Well, we find a second way to use them, doing actually really nice stuff. This is my Thai basil, and it's growing very nicely on the water. And on the other side here I have my chamomile, and you can see the roots that have been growing inside the milk carton, which actually takes a lot of water and it can last for a long time. So I really recommend this for children who want to start understanding, maybe, or parents who want to introduce the children into plant science and how these works. You can also look up different recipes for water solutions for hydroponics made at home, that you don't have to use any non-organic or things that you are not very, they don't look very trustworthy to you. Then there's a big variety of recipes that you can follow to keep the nutrients high on hydroponics. And these can grow up to possibly maybe, yeah, another month, I guess. And then I will transplant this one because the roots are actually quite high, and I think it'll do her good to see some earth. But the basil seems that it's still growing nicely, so let's see how far we get with the basil. So, onto the tutorial. This is what we're going to need. An empty milk packet. I suggest that you use something with a cork, like this one, because then you can see how the roots are going and you don't have to lift the basket to see how much water is still there. It's good also for the children if they want to check out what's going on in there. It's also nice to peek. And we're also going to use seeds, obviously. I keep a lot of the seeds of the chilies that I grow, so these I reuse, obviously. 2 little baskets that are regularly used to grow salads, and you can buy them in the supermarket and reuse them. Don't throw them away. These are still good to use. I think these were somehow coriander and probably lettuce. You're going to need coconut pellets. These coconut pellets I bought online. They're called Jiffys, and usually you have to hydrate them before you start using them. So I have a little water container right there, and I'm gonna just sink them in and let them hydrate for the time being. Then the seeds are gonna go in there. And then we have these expanding clay, which it's pretty much just to hold the pellet in place once we put it inside the basket. And now we can start. So the first thing that we need in order to do the 2 holes that are going to be the holders for the baskets, you probably want to have an adult helping you out if you don't feel very confident using these, like cutter. These are very sharp, so probably mom or dad can help you, or some other adult around that. Here's what you're gonna do. Mark around a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just a circle that is close to the diameter of the basket. As I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to be enough so the basket can be submerged underwater partially, not all the way down, because you want to have access to your basket, okay, and be able to lift it up. But that it has access to the water somewhere around here, perhaps. So maybe a diameter to cut that it's definitely not bigger than the upper part. And you do the same thing with the other one. For example, this is another way to do it. You mark the bigger diameter, and then just think of follow the line to make a smaller circle, and that's the one you're gonna cut. And it doesn't really matter if you have another marked over here. You can then paint this box, I imagine. I think I'm gonna have a workshop with some kids in daycare, so let's see what they come up with, what type of solutions. Maybe, yeah, they do make nice drawings and decorations to their books. So now comes the cutting part, so just be careful when you cut. I found that sideways it's really easy and you can control your cut without getting hurt. There you go. And the basket would fit just like that. You can push it a bit more and see like how far underneath it's going to be, it's going to go. So that means the amount of water that the plant can reach. How much does it have? How much leverage? And now for the second one. Here we go. And now the pellets are still soaking, so I'm gonna give them a bit longer before I put them inside the baskets, and I'll see you in a second. Now, I opened the cork, and now I don't need to pick up any of the baskets in order to water the plants. Remember, this is meant to be an indoor project. Now that the autumn's coming, it's gonna get cold, and some of these plants don't like the cold. They need to be pampered indoors. So if you have a nice space close to a window where they can have there we go, where they can have enough sunlight and warmth, then definitely that will help them thrive. The nice thing about these type of experiments is that if our intention is to introduce children into these type of gardening and projects and be interested in science little by little, these are like really nice baby steps to introduce them to how plants grow, for example. However, it does require some bits of responsibility, so like the kids have to water the plants, or the parents have to water the plants, most likely the parents, yeah. But if anybody forgets, then this one has like a nice provision of water that pretty much lasts a month. And the water and the plants are just like growing on their own nicely and satisfied. So this is another way for parents to introduce children to plant science and don't have to care that much for the little projects or feel guilty that the plants died and the kids then are heartbroken because, well, they never saw it bloom. So this is hopefully something that interests you and you would like to do at home. If you do, please share there on our Instagram. You can see the links. This was also inspired by another teacher from Singapore. I follow a lot of groups of urban farmers around the world, and I learn a lot from them, and I think it's very fair to credit each and every one of them for everything that they have taught me. So the credit for the original tutorial is right there on the bottom. Hope you can drop him a line and say that this is actually a really awesome little project. And yeah, try it and send us pictures. Tag us at Cedar Live. Instagram or Facebook or whichever social media you are into. Have fun. Bye-bye.